We just watched the trailer for Spider-Man, wait, I thought you were dead. In this episode of Movie Trailer Trash.
That's right, baby. It's time for Movie Trailer Trash. Enjoy.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Movie Trailer Trash. We just watched the trailer for Spider-Man Far From Home. My name's Charlie.
And I'm Bethany.
And this is the first trailer for a Marvel movie that happens after Avengers Endgame.
That's true. That is a fact.
Are we okay with that? Are we upset about it?
Well, here's the thing. When you told me about it, I was like, Psh, I'm not going to watch that. I don't need that nonsense in my life. But then you were like, should we do an episode on it? So I was like, well, I better watch it if we're going to. And then I liked it. So I was like, yes, we should do an episode on it.
Yes.
So I'm in favor.
So, but that doesn't answer the question of
how
do you feel about the fact that this is a character that's supposed to be dead right now?
I think it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
Nobody cares, really. Like, honestly, of all the characters that are supposed to be dead right now, Spider-Man is the least important. Like, I know people like him, but, like, he's the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He's a kid. It's sad. Nobody wants you to die, but whatever. Your being alive has such little impact on the entirety of the Avengers, on the importance of the Avengers as a group.
I mean, he saved Doctor Strange.
Sure. Okay, but what I'm saying is Doctor Strange also died, so
he didn't really save him.
Exactly. But no, I mean, here's the thing. What it comes down to is, who cares? It's comic books. They literally could just make this movie and never explain it and act as if nothing happened, and I would be okay with it if it's a good movie.
And that's the thing about the movies versus comic books thing, is that you can do whatever you want in comic books, and people will be fine with it because they just want them to keep going because they want to keep reading them.
Whereas just make up an excuse for why he's back.
Most of the movie-going audience, I would say they probably hasn't
continuity,
aren't comic book fans,
mm-hmm.
and so they go because the movies are good.
Yeah.
And so if you just if you only watch the movies and you're not really into all of the news and stuff that happens, when this trailer came out, you'd be like, wait. What? You would be really confused about it.
I don't think so.
You would be irritated because you'd be like, oh, I guess that Spider-Man and Nick Fury are alive.
Yeah, and that's the most that you might feel about it, though.
It's like I
said,
spoiler.
it doesn't ruin. Yeah, it's a small spoiler.
You know what I did notice?
Because in my mind, it's like, who cares? If Loki showed up at the end of the trailer, then I would lose my ass.
What's your S?
My shit.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. I decided to censor myself the way radio hosts do. I don't know why.
I think that
I would lose my shit if Loki showed up at the end.
Let's go through the trailer first before anything
upset.
else. First of all, it is directed by the John Watts, the guy who did the first one.
Okay.
The first Spider-Man Homecoming. And then he also did this movie called Cop Car. It was his first movie directing before Spider-Man Homecoming. And it's like Kevin Bacon, and he's a weird, creepy cop, and these teenagers find a cop car, and he's really strange about it. And I
have heard of this.
This
sounds really familiar. I feel like I've seen a trailer for that.
It's probably because I told you about it, and I was I want to see it real familiar. Bad, and I forgot about it. The writers are the same as the last one. Mm-hmm. They also did Ant-Man and the Wasp and Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle and Lego Batman, the Lego Batman movie.
Oh, those are all good.
They were also writers on Community for a while, so
cool.
All good stuff.
Very funny people.
The trailer itself is Peter Parker getting ready to go on a European trip with his school somehow.
Well, I think it's actually just with his friends. He said it was a school trip, though, didn't he?
I think so.
But it's just him and his friends. It's definitely a school trip. I bet you it's that.
Yeah, he said class
math
trip.
league or whatever. What were they in?
Now,
no. What do you call it? Not math league. It was like
Quiz Bowl or something like that.
I think it's the Quiz Bowl team because I just realized the kid at the end that's mean to him, he's in it and he was in Quiz Bowl.
That's Flash. The thing about that, well, first of all, does that happen? Is that a thing that happens?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Because, okay, think about this. For any club you're in, there's usually districts and state and then sometimes nationals. Right?
Regionals, nationals and regionals.
Exactly, regionals and then nationals.
That's funny because there's a whole episode of Community where they're always talking about regionals.
Yeah, they're in choir. But yeah, the thing is, When I was in high school, I was in a class where you were required, if you were going to be in the class, to also be in the DECA club, which is, oh God, I can't remember.
It's like advertising club.
Yeah, it's
right?
I can't remember what it stands for. DECA stands for something. DECA.
Don't ever create advertisements.
No.
Oh.
So anyway, I was in that because it was part of my class, and I wish they would have explained what the club was to me, because basically they were like, you don't have to go to any of the competitions except for the districts. Everybody has to go to districts. That's part of your grade. So like right before districts, they were like quickly explaining to us what it even was. Ridiculous. And then I went, rocked it. And the weird thing is, it's one of these dorky competitions.
Dork.
It's kind of as dorky as Quiz Bowl or Math League. Math League. Because basically you're like, here's a situation. You're going to go talk to your boss about this PR problem, and you're going to tell them what you think they should do. Like that was the thing. And so I went in, I had like 10 minutes to think of something. I went in, talked to my fake boss, which was just some adult, and they judged me on different things, my performance and whatever. Then you take a test, just a straight up written test about marketing.
What is happening right now?
This is important.
Where are we going?
This is important to me. So me, Bethany, I did it. And I was like, that was tough. I didn't realize there was going to be a test portion. This is not fun. What's up with this club? And then when they were naming the top 10 winners, 10-1, they got to number 3. And I was like, I guess I didn't get it because there's no way I'm 1 or 2. I got number 1. I took 1 at districts.
So you didn't like it until you won?
No, I liked it. I had a really good time, but I was nervous because I was like, that was harder than I expected. And then I got number 1. Overall, I was the highest score on the test and the highest score on the performance portion.
So then Mysterio shows up.
So no, here's the thing. Hang on. So that was districts. I went on to state. I didn't go on to nationals, but my friend did. I bet you at nationals, there's like a very small percentage that goes on to some sort of international thing. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they did that. Yeah. So they're in Quiz Bowl. They're going to, what is this, London?
I think they're going all over the place. I think that they're in Italy and London.
It looked like they were in Venice at one point.
Yeah, and all of these different places. And so I think they're going like around, kind of like how, students after graduating high school kind of go around.
It could just be a fun trip too. Like I went with my French trip one time to Canada just because.
And so what happens is he goes there. He doesn't bring his suit because he doesn't, I don't know, he lost his
No, he said, I don't want to go. He said, I just want to go on a fun trip with my friends. He just wants to
be a kid, man.
Yeah, he said, I just want to go on a fun trip with my friends. They don't need Spider-Man in Europe.
Yeah, that's very unlike Spider-Man to say that.
Not very smart, dude.
With great power.
He's like, listen, I've heard about Europe. No crime there.
Hey,
we're good.
Great power does not travel internationally.
I feel like he's just like, listen, that's their problems. They need to get their own Spider-Man.
So while he's in Europe, first of all, Nick Fury approaches him in the similar way that he approached all the other superheroes, in
sneaking
a very
up on them,
unnecessarily
in their own
covert
room.
And violent way. And he, recruits him, I'm sure, to defend Europe against Mysterio.
Why is Nick Fury in Europe? Like bad things
Nick Fury's
like this.
everywhere.
Yeah, but I'm just saying in the comics, bad things like this are happening all over the place all of the time, and you have different heroes taking care of it. So it's weird that like Nick Fury decided to like get involved with one villain when there's so many other things going on.
I think it's more about recruiting Spider-Man than.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. Okay, the only thing I would say that might be a spoiler, other than okay, they're both alive, is. Why would Nick Fury be recruiting Spider-Man?
Well, hold on. Let's get through all of this beforehand. So there's these big giant, what they call elementals that are attacking Europe. There's a fire one and a sand one. I think I saw and a water one. And Mysterio.
Did they say elementals, or do you just know that from your own personal
That's what
knowledge?
they are.
Okay.
The Mysterio, famous Spider-Man villain, defeats these elementals and is flying around and shooting at them and whatever.
You don't want any part of this.
Yeah, and
that's what he said.
Awesome. He looks great.
Well, he looks hilarious. Hang on, I don't know if he looks great. He looks hilarious, but it's Jake Gyllenhaal, so that's fun.
Right, Jake Gyllenhaal, one of my favorite actors.
It's like Jake
Gyllenhaal
wearing a whole bunch of eye makeup and like a silly outfit, shooting green things out of his hands.
Yeah, awesome, like I said. And so then it's basically ends with that. So there's he fights these monsters and they're held at bay. He's on the news the next day, whatever. So that's the only thing we've seen so far. I like that
Pretty
they've
much,
only
yeah.
showed that. And we'll talk about right now. We'll talk about Nick Fury. And
okay. So when you're ready to talk about Nick Fury,
I wanted to get through
we'll
the
talk
thing.
about Nick Fury.
So Nick Fury is alive.
Let me talk about Nick Fury. So if Nick Fury is coming at him, trying to recruit him, well, here's the thing. Tony Stark already did recruit him. Tony Stark has been his main point of contact. So the only thing that might be a big spoiler is if Nick Fury is trying to recruit him, that means there is no Tony Stark, because Nick Fury would have just sent Tony. Because why not send the person who already has a connection with the kid to recruit the kid?
Well, first of all, I don't think that Nick Fury is Tony Stark's boss.
Nick
I think
Fury
he kind of operates independently of him.
Yeah, but he would just be like, Tony, I need you.
Second of
they're
all,
buds.
um,
They're buds.
yeah, you don't see Tony Stark in this whole trailer.
Well, you don't see anybody in this trailer besides Nick Fury and Spider-Man.
You also see Happy.
Happy is not a superhero. Hate to break it to you.
He's a loyal
Friend, yeah.
forehead of security.
His superpower is friendship and loyalty.
His friendship. Yeah, so there's that. You can theorize
Super
based on
friend.
that. It seems like Tony Stark is not in it either
It
on
could be
purpose
just busy
to
doing
trick
something
you
else.
or because he's dead. One of those two things.
Or he legit could just be doing something else.
Maybe he's in space. Who
Like
knows?
I could see them very easily just like, if Tony survives Endgame, I could see them just being like, I need you. You're the only one available because the others are busy. You know, like I said, it's comic books. Who cares? Tony can't help right now. I need you.
Is that the answering machine?
Yep.
Okay.
Tony can't help right now. I need you to leave a message.
By the way, there was a theory that I was talking about with my brother, and also I saw online somewhere after we were talking about it, that was if Tony Stark dies in Endgame, there's a story where his consciousness is downloaded and put into another Iron Man suit.
Mm-hmm. So kind of like Vision.
Sure. And so
it's like a consciousness.
What some people were saying and what we were saying is that it would be really cool if his consciousness was downloaded and put into Spider-Man's suit as the new AI. So
yeah, you've told me this before.
Tony Stark would be the new AI in Spider-Man's suit.
So it's like his mentor would be talking to him.
And he would still call him Mr. Stark, and it would be funny.
It would be heartbreaking. I could not laugh at that. He'd be like, I don't know what to do, Mr. Stark. And then I'd be like, Mr. Stark is dead. I would hate that. But I get it. And it would be
and
really
it would be great.
sweet.
And I think that you could get Robert Downey Jr. on board for it because you just have to do voiceover work
just
for
a few things.
a day.
It would be really cool. But also I feel like if they were going to do that, at some point when he's scared and asking the AI for help, he breaks down crying because he wishes that the real Tony Stark was there. I almost cried just thinking about it.
Okay, let's move on to Mysterio theory real quick. And it's not really a theory. I think it's kind of obvious for someone who has ever, seen this character before or read him in a comic book.
So for a few people.
And before I say it, I'll expand on him a little bit.
Okay.
He is a former visual effects guru, basically, for movies. That's his character.
Yeah. Specialist, I think is the word they usually use. Whenever there's.
Well, he's really, really
in
good.
Movies, they
I wanted to get that across.
Okay, yeah.
That he was one of the better ones.
Okay.
And he started off as a stuntman. And
nice. So he does stunts and visual effects.
And so he wanted to move up to
convenient
this, and he basically mastered the industry, and he was, renowned throughout the industry. But his whole motivation, at least in a lot of the comics, is fame.
Okay, yeah.
He wants to be famous.
Well, I could see him being bored with visual effects and stunt deviling. Stunt deviling.
Stunt deviling.
I could see him being like, this is boring within the world of the movies. I want to see what I can do in the real world.
And so one of his things,
Trick
earlier
people's minds.
motivations, is he thinks that he can become famous by defeating a superhero. Like that's how he would become famous. And I think that in this movie, he wants to become famous by becoming a superhero.
Yeah.
And so he's basically a fake superhero, and he's creating, I think, these big elementals with his visual effects and defeating them.
Well, it's not just visual. Let's be honest. There's water that soaks Peter Parker.
Yeah, so it's all real stuff.
It's not just visual.
He's in control of it.
Yeah, somehow. So basically what you're telling me is that he is the redhead kid from The Incredibles.
Yeah.
What is that kid's name? Spiro?
Spiro.
It's something with an S. He has the big S on his chest. Black and white.
Syndrome.
Syndrome.
No,
yeah.
syndrome.
Syndrome
is different.
Anyway.
But yeah, so
he has syndrome, for those of you who don't know, is a redheaded kid who grows up to be a villain in The Incredibles, the first one, and he creates something that kills superheroes.
A big robot.
But he tests it on a bunch of superheroes because he wants it to be really, really good. And then he goes in and he defeats it by having the remote control that defeats it.
And you can kind of say
cool.
that it's also pretty similar to Mr. Glass in Unbreakable.
Kind of.
Where he's causing these accidents to try and serve a different purpose.
He wants to find a hero, but yeah.
He needs a hero.
Okay.
And so that's what I think is happening there. I love Jake Gyllenhaal, and I think
that's why you thought he looks awesome. Not because he looks awesome, but because it was just Jake Gyllenhaal.
So like the suit in the comic books and the cartoons is really silly.
Cheesy.
It's like
it's cheesy.
like this weird like bright green and purple, and he's got a cape and a big globe for a head, and it's obviously like a helmet, but still it's like a big globe, and you can't see. It
looks like he has no face,
and it looks really silly,
it's
and
cheesy.
I think that they did a good job of
making it look like that.
Making it look like you see it, and you you think it looks cool and not super dumb.
Oh, see, I thought it looked super dumb, but I thought it was supposed to.
Well, he's very theatrical.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But I think it'll be okay. Here's the thing.
Also, real quick, part of his storyline that I was reading about is that he wanted to be famous, and so he tried to be an actor.
Oh, okay.
And he was too ugly to be an actor.
Oh, well, that doesn't work for
and so
Jake Gyllenhaal.
that doesn't track right
now. That doesn't translate at all.
So maybe they get rid of that portion.
Listen, I don't
Sorry,
think
Jake
you can
Gyllenhaal, you're too ugly.
That Jake Gyllenhaal is too ugly. That wouldn't work. But no, okay, so a couple of fun things. Let's just talk about a couple of fun things.
Ooh, fun things.
Because we've talked about the big, important things. So there's a moment toward the beginning where Aunt May is like, kind of Spider-Man's PR lady, and she's like, everybody give a hand for Spider-Man.
Well, I think that they are doing opening up the homeless shelter that she is running.
Oh, awesome. I wouldn't have known about that.
I don't know if that's from the video game, but that's when...
Yeah, I was going to say, I've never heard of this.
The video game is when
shelter?
I've seen it. And it looked exactly like it. It's a big homeless shelter. I think it comes earlier in the comics, but...
so basically, he's just there as a PR stunt.
Yeah, he's like, hey, I'm Spider-Man. Help out your community, because that's what Spider-Man does.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, anyway, I thought that was fun. And then afterwards, Happy comes in and compliments her dress, and they have like a little flirtatious moment. And then Spider-Man's like, what just happened? So that's funny, because I like the idea of Happy and her being together.
Yeah.
Because Happy's awesome, and Happy's already like a parental figure to him.
Happy deserves happiness.
Yeah. Happy is cool. He listens to all of Spider-Man's problems. He's a good mentor. Spider-Man calls him when he's eating churros. I think it'd be good. And I also like that they're utilizing Happy a lot more. You and I recently went back and watched Iron Man 3, and I forgot how much a part of those Iron Man movies he was, and he's so funny. I like him a lot.
And so
that was fun.
And there's that too, where Happy is in it, but Tony Stark is not.
But like I said, it's who cares? It's Happy.
It could be a trick. It could be.
But what I'm saying is, Happy. Tony Stark doesn't bring Happy everywhere with him. Even in the third Iron Man, he's just like, "Hey, would you be the head of my security of this building?" Like, he's busy at the building trying to keep bad guys out. They do separate stuff. They're not always together.
No, I know. I'm just saying that it's a obvious big omission from this trailer.
Well, because
Tony Stark.
But you know why though? Is it doesn't matter whether he is alive or dead. If they put Tony Stark in it, then it's a huge spoiler and everybody hates it. Everybody would have been angry if Tony Stark was in this.
Yeah, I mean, I think
if he survives or not isn't what matters. What matters is them not spoiling it for us.
I originally thought that it was a mistake to have this trailer until Endgame happened.
But it doesn't matter because we already knew that there was going to be a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, but like I was saying earlier, is that people who watch movies casually didn't. Like people who aren't looking up, news on Marvel movies every day.
Yeah, but that's fine.
Don't know that that's going to happen. That trailer came out and they were like, "What?"
Yeah, but who cares?
They Seinfelded out about it.
Who cares about those people? Seriously, who cares? Because you said,
who cares about those people? They can go screw for all I care.
Like you said, this movie is coming out pretty quickly after Endgame, and so they couldn't wait until Endgame was over, like out in theaters to release the trailer. And even if they did wait, how long do you wait? How long is appropriate? Well, not everybody's seen Endgame yet. It's only been a week. Should we wait 2 weeks after Endgame? Like, come on, just show us the trailer.
Yes.
They did it tastefully. Oh, another funny part is he tells MJ she looks really pretty. And what did she say? Oh, great. So now I'm worth something to you or something like she like basically.
That gives me value.
That gives me value, yeah. I asked you what she said. You knew what she said and you let me stumble over it first.
You kept going.
No, I looked at you and paused.
That's a pause?
Yes, and I pointed. Listen. Don't let your wife stumble over her own words when you know the answers.
It's fun to watch stumbling.
Okay, so anyway, it's like a funny moment where she makes him feel bad and she's like, I'm just kidding. And there's like lots of little funny moments. I love his friend that from the first one. So I did tell Charlie I wasn't a very big fan of the first one. However, it's a good movie. It's fun. I just thought that the villain and the plot was lacking, but like the humor and the characters were great.
I went and watched the first one again fairly recently because I bought it, and it's really good.
There with you during all of this.
No, you didn't watch it with me.
Yeah.
False.
We've watched it since you bought it.
Oh, so that must have been the third time then. But yeah, I watched it, and it's really good and a lot better than I remember it being.
No, here's the thing. There's never been a villain I've cared less about than this guy.
The Mysterio?
No.
Vulture?
I was my caring
really?
level for this guy.
Sympathetic.
No, I was like not into him.
You are very anti anyone whose motivation is I have to provide for my family to do bad things.
It was just boring. I was bored.
No, but that's a true statement though. What
about
I just
me?
said. You don't.
Well, yeah,
you don't find that
hurt
sympathetic
people
at
to
all.
help your people. What kind of a terrible person are you?
Would you steal bread to feed your family?
Yeah, but I wouldn't steal it from a starving family. End of story.
But he wasn't. He was stealing from Tony Stark.
He was stealing from Tony Stark, but he was literally willing to kill and hurt people for it. And he was giving. No, that's the thing. He was stealing weapons and giving them to dangerous people who were going and murdering people.
Well, yeah,
it's unacceptable.
The selling weapons portion of it.
It's unacceptable. That's what I'm saying. So it's basically like...
You got a little caught up in
yes,
that.
I would steal bread to feed my family. I wouldn't steal it from a starving family.
You wouldn't steal weapons to feed your family.
I wouldn't steal weapons and give them to a bad guy to feed my family.
I would not sell weapons to feed my family.
I'm just saying there are many other things you can do. I just didn't... No, I didn't find him sympathetic. I was bored by his daughter. Her character as being the love interest was kind of bland, but I know that's kind of part of it. Because, I just, like I said, I like Spider-Man. I like his friend. I like MJ. I like Happy. I liked a lot of the characters in it and the character development. But the storyline was like, oh my God, get on with it. Like this guy, the peak of the movie, the big fight scene was just him, Spider-Man, a plane, and an empty beach where nobody at all could ever get hurt.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of...
there was Spider-Man. Nothing at stake ever in this movie. I was never afraid for anyone besides him.
Right, it was his life.
Yeah. You're a superhero. You're supposed to be saving people. He was saving people in a roundabout way. He was saving people the way I save people by writing for charities. You know what I'm saying?
That's interesting.
It's nice to help charities, but I'm not the one out there
he's
doing
saving
the real
people
work.
like a cop saves people by like preventing stolen goods from falling into the wrong hands. That's what he was doing. Also,
I just was bored by it. I was bored by the overall story. I laughed my butt off the whole time.
Your butt's gone?
There's plenty of funny moments. The churro moment. The aforementioned churro moment. Point is, this one looks very funny. and the story looks more compelling and interesting to me.
Another thing, right? One more thing before we move on to where, when, and how is I thought that I don't see a reason why it needs to be in Europe. Basically, is what I'm saying.
For fun.
Right, exactly. So I thought they missed an opportunity to be able to make Mysterio European.
Yeah.
Because like it would be interesting.
He could have been French.
Like if you were French or Italian or something, and it was like
I feel like French would have been great.
And they had, he came. Sorry, I just sniffed into the microphone. He came, he said his thing, and it was in like a really thick French or Italian accent.
That would have been funny.
Yeah, that would have been interesting, and it would have easily been a reason why it's in Europe. Like he went there, and there's this guy who's been planning this crazy visual effects thing for the last year. And so that's one thing that I find weird. It's just like they're just doing it just cuz.
I don't know. I think it looks fun. I think they're doing it mainly because they didn't want it set in New York, because then that would give away too much. It's like, before we even finish making Endgame, let's make sure that this isn't even in the same area as it. That way, when we do show the trailers, it doesn't give any huge hints away.
Another thing that my brother texted me was that when he's swinging through New York, you can see the Avengers Tower in the background, and it's under construction.
Yeah.
And there's some people who are theorizing that at the end of Homecoming, when they're selling it, that they sold it to Reed Richards, and it's being slowly turned into the Baxter Building, which is where they live.
Yeah, what?
Reed Richards is Mr. Fantastic. Fantastic Four.
Okay, yeah, please do not ever use the name of someone that nobody knows or cares about without explaining who he is.
What? Everyone
Reed
knows.
Richards?
Yeah, he's the smartest man alive.
That's like saying, Jake Smith?
Oh, yeah.
Nobody knows Jake Smith, because I just made the name up, and that's as recognizable as Reed Richards.
Oh, you mean Smithy?
Reed Richards is not famous.
He's the most famous man in the Marvel Universe.
Okay, if you're a nerd and you read comic books. No, seriously, no. Like, most people, legitimately, if it wasn't for the movies, most people would have never known who Captain Steve Rogers was. If you would have just said Steve Rogers before the movies, nobody would have known what you were talking about at all.
Sorry, for the people who aren't as smart as me, Reed Richards is Mr. Fantastic.
It has nothing to do with smartness. It has to do with what you're interested in. And nobody's interested in Fantastic Four because they've yet to make a good movie of it. And most of us become interested in superheroes when they make a good movie of it.
I honestly think those movies are fine.
The one with
they're like
Michael B. Jordan?
No, that is one of the worst movies
ever. There you
ever.
go.
But
so
like the
watch
one with
what you say.
What's her name? Jessica Alba.
What's her name?
And,
Jessica Alba and Chris Evans. Yeah.
And Chiklis. Michael Chiklis.
Okay, I don't know. Listen, they're fine. They're fine. They were made before Superman.
Smash.
I'm sorry, guys. My lips are not working correctly today. They were made before superhero movies were.
That's so much worse.
We're good.
I hated that.
They were made way back before. Way back before superhero movies were good.
Okay, so did you catch that at all? That might be the Fantastic Four's new building. Let's move on to where, when, and how you're going to see it.
Where, when, how?
Are you going to see this movie?
Can I just say that I think the reason you even brought that up is because you're really like, you think if you wish for it hard enough and you want it bad enough, the next thing they're going to do is the Fantastic Four, and they'll finally get it right.
Hey, it happened with all this other stuff.
Right. Not after years of failure, though.
Yeah, sure.
Nobody did Iron Man before Iron Man.
Yeah, they absolutely did.
No.
And it was awful.
No.
Yeah, it was
not
in like
an actual
the 70s.
movie.
Yeah.
No.
I'll show it to you later.
Anyway, all right, let's do this. I am going to see this movie.
Yeah.
Where?
When?
In a theater. When? When it comes out. How? With my money.
Okay.
I'm going to go see it in theaters. Probably first week or second week.
Yeah, I'm going to see it in theaters. I think that we should see it on opening night. I think it's going to be great and wonderful, unless like Endgame does something really weird where, everyone who comes back is now a Skrull that would maybe, I don't know, something weird.
It's like we've always said, superhero movies are meant to be seen in the theater.
Of course.
With the great speakers and the great effects on screen and everything. When you said, I thought you were going to say, I think we should. You said, I think we should. And I thought you were going to say, I think we should see it together. And I was going to be like, yeah, duh.
Well, together, but on separate sides of the theater.
No, that'd be sad. Then how can I whisper in your ear when I have a funny thought?
Exactly. All right, let's move on to Rotten Tomatoes.
Rotten Tomatoes percentages.
Yeah, I wanted it to be quick because it's obvious. You know, so everyone, when we do the
Yeah.
obvious ones of like, yeah, you're going to see it in the theater on opening night.
And then people are like, why are they still talking?
Right.
We get it.
Exactly.
Move on.
Move on.
So Rotten Tomatoes.
Yes, what do you think?
This is tough. Do you remember and or know what the original, the last Spider-Man Homecoming one got?
Let's go to the phones.
All right, because I think that might be a good marking point for us, just knowing how good that one was, you know, and how good this one looks and kind of comparing.
I think it got pretty high.
I think so too. I think it got in the 80s. Anyway, I think this is going to be good. It looks funny, and at the very least, we know that the writers and the director are good at making us laugh.
Yes.
So I think the audience is going to love it.
92 for Homecoming.
That's outrageous. That's outrageous.
Why?
It doesn't deserve that.
No?
It deserves 86 tops.
You don't think it deserves an A?
No, I'm sorry. No, not with that awful villain and that kind of bland storyline.
A lot of people
We are
really
in
like that villain.
we are in the middle of a 13 movie series or something, right? Universe?
By this point, Spider-Man Far From Home will be the 21st movie.
Yeah, so we were in the middle of this ridiculous thing, and each movie that came out, except for Ant-Man, I'll exclude the Ant-Man movies, each movie that came out, you know, Winter Soldier, all the Iron Man movies, Thor, all of those movies had some like intense, important thing happening, and this was just like, oh no, I gotta stop the bad guy from selling the weapons, and I'm gonna miss my school dance. And I get that that's Spider-Man, but in the middle of this massive, incredible thing, it was a letdown.
It's not, I'm gonna miss my school dance. It's my girlfriend's dad is going to kill me.
Yeah, but I still kind of roll my eyes at that.
And everyone I care about.
Like, the fact that he's your girlfriend's dad shouldn't be the thing that makes it interesting.
Whatever. Someone is going to kill me.
No,
and
but
everyone I
for
care
real
about.
though, it was not interesting until you saw that it was her dad. Like when you saw that it was her dad, you're like, oh no.
That's probably why they did it, right?
But that's what I'm saying is sad. The villain should be interesting enough. It shouldn't be, let's make it his girlfriend's dad to make it interesting. That's lame.
The Thanos is
it's like such a high school problem.
Star-Lord's girlfriend's dad.
What?
Thanos?
Yeah. Anyway.
Gamora's dad.
Yeah, but that's not why he's interesting though, right? Like, in fact, that's like pretty unimportant to the story.
That's
what
a
I'm
huge
saying.
part of it.
It's a huge part of the
movie.
Guardians, but
it's an enormous part of the movie.
Well, whatever. Agree to disagree. It's boring. Nobody cares about your girlfriend.
It's the reason that Thanos got away.
In fairness, I am a married person who's been married for a long time. Maybe I get bored by love stories because I'm like not in a point where I'm longing for that. I have it. I'm good. Let's move on. But it bored me.
I think that
You're boring.
are...
I'm surprised I got such a high score. Can I tell you what I think the next score is going to be?
1 second. I think that there are people who prefer something small and people who prefer something epic. And, you know,
And
that's
I'm
just the difference.
Second.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Look, I can't believe it got 92% because Wonder Woman got 93% and it was far superior to it. Yeah, it was. Less funny, but still far superior. I know you like to say if it's not as funny, it's not as good, but you're wrong. So, I think this one will get high.
Wrong.
This one's going to have to get really high because it's obviously better already. Just by basing it off the trailer, it's already better than the other. More interesting. So, finally we got Mary Jane in it. His friend is hilarious. We're going to get more of that. So I'm going to say it's going to get a 92 again because I don't know how it could be higher than a 92 because it's just a Spider-Man movie.
95!
And I also don't know how it could be lower than the first one. So
I say 95.
Audience, probably going to give it a 95. Audience are going to go crazy for it. They're going to love it, especially because no matter what, we're not going to probably get out of Endgame without having some people stay dead, and we're going to be a little sad about it. So it's going to be nice to have just a funny, fun one to kind of take the weight of the world off our shoulders and be like, now laugh.
Yeah, that would be good. I think 95, 92.
I know we killed off one or more of your favorite characters, but come watch this and just laugh.
I don't want to give anything away cast-wise that isn't shown in the trailer, but I will say this. JB Smoove is in this.
Say what?
JB Smoove.
Smoove?
Yeah.
It sounds like you're trying to say smooth, and it's confusing me.
Well, that's the point of his name.
Who is this?
He's a comedian. He's really funny. He's known for being in Curb Your Enthusiasm. He's Leon in Curb Your Enthusiasm. He's got the lisp. He's the comedian. He's in a lot of commercials.
Does he have a real lisp, or is it for the role?
He has a real lisp.
That's why it's probably JB Smoove.
And he's really, really funny. And he doesn't have a character listed yet.
Cool.
And a lot of people think that he might be J. Jonah Jameson.
Who's that?
Which would be really funny. The guy that wants pictures of Spider-Man. The editor of the Daily Bugle.
I don't know who this person is, so I mean, it doesn't help me very much. But
his thing is like yelling and like getting really, really over the top yelling. And
so along those lines, it would also be funny if Billy Eichner was J. Jonah Jonason. What is his name? Jameson.
That would be really
Wouldn't
funny.
that be?
Billy Eichner.
I want pictures of Spider-Man.
Oh God! You just broke that microphone. Oh no!
And then he just like runs away because that's what he does. He like yells in people's faces and then runs away.
It was a dead-on Billy Eichner impression.
Did you like it? I felt good about it. Listen, I'm not good at impressions, but I felt like I had to match the energy and the tone.
He does need to be in a superhero movie soon, though.
Yeah, he's in that. I recently found out that he's in American Horror Story.
Yeah, and he's going to be Timon in the new Lion King.
Well, there you go. His career is made. He's good to go. All right, so we've talked a lot. We've shared some opinions. I know I have strong opinions, but that's what you guys are here for, right?
I guess.
I don't know why you guys keep listening if you hate my strong opinions. Or maybe it's because you hate them and you just want to hear me and be like, she's so wrong once again.
Oh, yeah.
Because I definitely have listened to people for that before. Just
really?
To be, yeah, I mean, like back when I
listened to?
No, maybe. Back when I used to listen to my favorite radio station, which will not be named, back when it had great DJs on it, I used to just listen to it. Yep. I used to just listen to it and be like, oh my gosh, you're wrong. Like just yell at the radio. And so that can be fun. If you guys like yelling at me, that's fine. I don't have to hear it. So,
well, if you want to hate listen to us, you can go to our Twitter, follow us at MTT Podcast. You can go to our website, mttpodcast.com. You can go to Facebook and find us there. And, we have other things that we do, like Instagram and stuff like that. We just recently got onto Spotify, and so you can check us out.
So tell your friends, tell your family.
Tell your Spotify family. And
rate and review us.
Yeah, rate and review on iTunes, subscribe, and all of that good stuff.
Also, we're going to start trivia nights up again for Kansas Cityans.
Yeah, it's going to
keep an eye out for that on Facebook.
Last Thursday of every month. This month, it's going to be the last day of the month.
Special.
31st. So come out for that if you're in the area. And as always, you can follow our friends Entertainment Buffet at Entertainment Buffet and subscribe to their YouTube channel as well.
We will see ya another time.
Thwip, thwip.